us.
Yeah, Shadan Larki, awards buzz. Hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Shadan. Nice to meet you. I wanted to start by asking you both. This is a reunion for you, and what was it like to come together again to do the last days of the space age after so many years, both doing, working independently after Neighbors.
Well,
Well, yeah.
we actually figured because we talked about this and we
We're
were
like, did
like,
we work together on Neighbors?
right, do we
We
ever actually
worked.
do a scene together? And I don't think we did. I
We
think
were adjacent. We saw each other in the green room
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Neighbors.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I don't think we ever actually worked together.
But we got to be neighbors on the shoot. They had us like staying in adjacent houses at one point. So we were neighbors
It's as
for
if we
real.
were neighbors
For
for a
real.
week
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
Radha moved
Then I moved because
because
he had really
she doesn't like me.
couldn't stand it. No, okay. That just being stupid. Yeah.
No, so what was it like to actually then be on set together and get to act and actually see how you work after you've been able to develop sort of this
Oh,
friendship for so long?
it was great. I think you're a really talented actor,
Well,
Jesse.
thank you, Radha. So are you.
Um, no, I think what we had were we were expats, like kind of
Mm.
returning home. And so that's a very specific experience. And I think we immediately understood a lot that other people might not immediately understand. So that created a real sense of like, oh, okay, I get you. And that helped, I think, for our characters.
Yeah, there's opportunities to come home and shoot things in Australia, but not as many as we'd like there to be. I think there's so many
Mm.
actors love coming back to Australia, and everyone's sort of looking to do stuff back here
Yeah,
occasionally. And so to get the opportunity to jump into one
we
and
felt really lucky about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, it's very
What I thought was so wonderful about the show is that it's so clearly set in a very specific time and place and rooted in that time and place, but it feels so universal to things that are going on now. I mean, strikes and workers' rights and families and navigating these sort of big cultural questions. What was it like to dig into that? I mean, there's so much meat there, and that's not an opportunity that actors get very often.
Well, honestly, that was all in the script. And it was great for conversation, obviously, for us to reflect on the Australian identity and how times are changing globally. And certainly there's this sense that I think we've always felt a bit overwhelmed by the changes in history. And I think
Mm.
evolution is awkward and uncomfortable, and that's sort of the experience of being here. But to combine that with this nostalgic, comfortable kind of time travel back to 1979, that was really interesting. Like to be nostalgic about something and then maybe looking again at how we've got to where we are now, looking back to where we came from, was really interesting.
And there's so much about the family and raising these teenagers in this changing world, and I think that's something that again we're thinking about a lot now, just with social media. I mean, what was it like to dig into the dynamics of this family together, and really what kind of conversations were you having to sort of establish these bonds that we see so fully fleshed out?
None. We don't have any
yeah.
conversations.
I think we just
We just
jumped
did it.
into it a lot. I think
Really?
well, the girls who played our daughters, Emily Grant and Mackenzie Mazur, just, I mean, it was really well cast. The writing
Yeah.
was good. They had a great dynamic between them. They're
Yeah.
two completely different people.
They really are. Just personally, they have very
Mm.
different energies. So
Yeah,
it felt very, it made sense for us to just sort of trying to contain those energies and work with them.
yeah, it was very organic. I think
Yeah.
everyone sort of jumped into their role, and um, all the elements were there for us to play with. With the ebb and flow of obstacles and parents trying to parent our children and encourage their dreams, yet keep their feet on the ground at the same time while negotiating the frictions between their own marriage and then
Yeah.
society at larger and the neighbors and the people around them. So
Yeah. And it was such a spectacle, like all the sets. So every time we entered the new kind of location, it kind of obviously brought the story to life. It made it sort of very,
it's familiar.
yeah,
Yeah.
it sort of came to life that way.
Mm.
But I think we even shot the first scene of the show, like at the very beginning. It maybe was one of our first scenes. So we kind of began, we discovered the story as it was playing out as well.
Oh, that's so fascinating. As we wrap, I was curious, what do you hope that audiences will take from watching this? But also, what are you personally going to take from this as you move on to other projects? What's going to be sort of the core moment or memory or the thing that stays with you from this?
The family of the whole cast. There was just like really great people that worked on this show. And I think there'll be kind of friendships that last over time, and that they were seeded by the project is something really special. But also just the opportunity to come home and work in Australia and tell a story that often a lot of Australian films kind of stay in Australia because they're so culturally specific, whereas this one I felt like has a real kind of global appeal, and is very relatable, and it was really nice. I feel like we've been able to introduce this Australian story on a kind of a bigger platform, and that's a really nice thing about it.
Yeah, I think it felt like it was almost a true ensemble, because there's so many, they give a lot of time to each family and characters. They transform and find their way through the series, and those universal themes will travel across international lines, and that there should be something in the show for everybody to latch onto and enjoy.
We hope that we can leave a bit of the Australian accent in everybody's mind and have the whole world thinking like us.
And if you need to put the subtitles on, we won't be offended.
What a great way to end it. Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Shadan.